from the very beginning. Okay? So they knew him, they followed him in the crowds and everything. So, Jesus, you would think, according to our human logic, that if Jesus were to choose an apostle from among his people to go and teach to the Gentiles, the logical thing to do would be to choose among those who have been with him, who have basically listened to his preaching, saw the miracles, to go and be apostles to the Gentiles. But what did he do? He chose Paul, who was on his way to kill, to persecute Christians. How do you explain that?
Well, he was highly intelligent.
The question would be, were there not better people than this man who was basically against the mission of Christ? But that's the one he chose. And it transformed him into the instrument he wanted. No complaints.
He got knocked down.
If you complain, what would be the response of God? What would be his response? Jesus gave us a parable. Are you envious because I'm generous to Paul?
The worker.
Remember the parable of the workers.
In the vineyard.
Some came at 9 in the morning, others at 5. At pay time, they received the same amount. Those who labored since morning said, "This is not fair." And the master says, "Are you envious because I'm generous? Can't I do with my money whatever I will or wish?" Okay? So that's the way God works. That's the one he chose for to serve his purpose. We have no complaint. So the following texts also show that God gives graces in varying measure to different persons as he freely chooses to suit his purpose. Matthew 11:21-23. If the graces that were given to Chorazin and Bethsaida had been given to Tyre and Sidon, they would have reformed long ago. Or Matthew 13:11. To you has been given knowledge of the mysteries of God's reign, but it has not been given to others. Matthew 25:14-30. Let's read this text again because of its importance in regard to what we're explaining. Matthew chapter 25.
I see. Matthew.
Chapter 25, beginning with verse 14. Hey David, can you... Okay, listen, follow very attentively, okay? It's Jesus speaking to us. We're not simply reading, okay?
It will be as when a man who was going on a journey called in his servants and entrusted his possessions to them.
We are in Matthew chapter 25.
Oh, 25.
Verse 14.
I'm beginning with verse 14. Okay?
To one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, to a third 1, to each according to his ability. Then he went away. Immediately the one who
Okay, did you note that each according to?
ability. Then he went away. Immediately the one who received 5 talents went and traded with them, and made another 5. Likewise, the one who received 2 made another 2. But the man who received 1 went off and dug a hole in the ground and buried his master's money. After a long time, the master of those servants came back and settled accounts with them.
So basically we know a talent. Okay? A talent didn't mean what we mean by talent today. A talent was simply a measure of value. Okay? It wasn't like today we say, oh, someone is talented. Okay? We use it now in a different kind of extended sense. But the talent there meant measure of value. So that's why you see it's in terms of money. Okay?
The one who had received 5 talents came forward, bringing the additional 5. He said, "Master, you gave me 5 talents. See, I have made 5 more." His master said to him, Well done, my good and faithful servant. Since you were faithful in small matters, I will give you great responsibilities. Come, share your master's joy." Then the one who had received 2 talents also came forward and said, "Master, you gave me 2 talents. See, I have 2 more. I have made 2 more." His master said to him, "Well done, my good and faithful servant. Since you were faithful in small matters, I will give you great responsibilities."
Okay, now I want you to look at these 2 verses, okay? Look at verse 21 and verse 23.
The same thing.
Okay? You see there. The one was given 5 talents. Okay? He came with 10. The other one 2. He came with 4. But the language is the same used here because each was given according to his or her ability. So each one is a good and a faithful servant, depending on their ability. They didn't receive equal talents, okay? But according to their ability, they did the same thing with whatever they received. And therefore, well done, good and faithful servant. So it doesn't matter whether one received 2 or another one 40 or whatever. What matters is what I did with what I received. I can't say, well, God, you gave me 2. If you had given me 15, I would have done better. Believe me, God will say, even if I had given you 100 instead of 2, you would have been unfaithful with 100 if you couldn't be faithful with the 2.
Come share, come share your master's joy. Then the one who had received the 1 talent came forward and said, "Master, I knew you were a demanding person, harvesting where you did not plant and gathering where you did not scatter. So out of fear..."
That verse is classic.
Yes.
You know, you're a demanding person. Okay? How often do we call God demanding? I want to do this, and God says, do this. That's why we perceive God's instructions or commandments as burdensome. But they are not. But we perceive them as burdensome. God is demanding. I want to do this, and whatever, okay. Yeah. And some of the things God is asking us are not very big. Eh? Going to confession once a year. Church, on Sunday, the precepts of the church will help us fulfill divine law. Thou shalt not
Kill.
lie. Most of us may have difficulty killing, but lying or coveting, honoring mother and father. That involves also valuing, respect, to value the elderly, the elders, okay? The people around us, the people, whatever so-called authority, okay? So, demanding, okay? Harvesting where he did not plant. Where did God not plant? There is no gift I have that I have not received. So this is the epitome of arrogance, an arrogant person. Okay? And with the arrogant, there is no salvation. Okay? Let's continue.
So out of fear, I went off and buried your talent in the ground. Here it is back. His master said to him in reply, "You wicked, lazy servant. So you knew that I have harvest where I did not plant and gather where I did not scatter. Should you not then have put my money in the bank so that I could have got it back with interest on my return? Now then, take the talent from him and give it to the one with 10. For to everyone who has, more will be given, and he will grow rich. But from the one who has not, even what he has will be taken away. And throw this useless servant into the darkness outside, where there will will be wailing and grinding of teeth.
Now this is a very, 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 very deep revelation, okay? Those who don't take responsibility, even what they were given will be taken away from them. Okay? That's why we constantly say baptism is necessary for salvation, but it's not enough to be saved. One can't say, well, I was baptized, therefore I can't go to hell. Even the little one has, if they don't trade with it, will be taken away from them. And what will happen? They'll be thrown into the dark.
Father, 27, can you review that one with us?
Verse
27.
27. Should you not then have put my money in the bank? Okay, this is what we all constantly talk about that. God has offered us the grace. Remember what we said about virtue? Gift. Virtue, gift, and fruit. So he said in baptism, God gives us the virtues of faith, hope, and love. But Jesus gives us many parables which show that this is like a seed planted. He plants the seed of divine glory, divine life. Then he offers us the gifts of the Holy Spirit, okay? To do what? To facilitate the growth, to nurture faith, hope, and love, so that faith, hope, and love may bear the fruits of the Holy Spirit. That's the trading. So what we are doing right now is cooperating with the gift of the Holy Spirit, the gifts of the Holy Spirit, okay, in order that we trade with the gift of the value of faith, hope, and love to bear the fruits of the Holy Spirit. This is the interest God will be looking for. Okay? Remember last time we had the parable of the fig tree at Mass. That's the thing. He came, looked around, no fruits,
Take it up.
no trading. Wall Street. Trading was not heavy. Trading may be light, but there was no trading at all. You know, everything was going down. No profit. So we're doing the trading by proper disposition and a cooperation. And the master will come asking for interest. The fruits of the Holy Spirit. So, we will be thrown away. And the context here is very important, because look at the parable of the talents here, and what follows?
The judgment.
What follows the parable of the talents? Do you see?
Judgment of the
I was hungry, I was thirsty, I was whatever, and either you came to my aid or didn't come to my aid. The
judgment.
works of mercy are the fruits of, this is what God will be looking for. And we know the works of mercy are both corporal and spiritual. Okay. So, that is the significance of this. But, according to what we have received, each one of us is supposed to do the trading according to our ability. God will not give me 2 talents and demand me to account for 6. Okay? So that's why I shouldn't look to my neighbor and be envious of them. Because if they are trading well, and I'm trading well, we are all benefiting. Mutual upbuilding of the body of Jesus Christ. But if they are trading and I'm not trading, it's like these people who say, well, I don't go to church, but I can pray anywhere. You go pray for me. Yes, I will pray for you, but I can't bear fruits for you. I can pray that you respond to the process and bear fruit, but I can't bear fruit for you. You have to get involved in the trading. You can't sit on the talent and expect it to produce fruit. You have to go out and do the trading. Put the money in the bank. Okay. So
how do we know how many talents will I have?
Well, talents, I don't want you to think of talent here in terms of
Okay.
the modern understanding of talent.
Gifts.
Uh-huh.
Gifts.
So here what we are talking about, again, the value you have received, it's a measure of value. The value we have received is divine life, faith, hope, and love. Okay? In different measures according to how God wills. Remember, with those gifts, the Spirit also offers gifts, okay, in a different way. Some are prophets, some are teachers, some are whatever, okay, as St. Paul tells us. But you trade with what God has given you, faith, hope, and love, depending on the ability He has given you. Okay? Yes. But basically, the measure of value is the same in different measures. Okay? Namely, sanctifying grace. So let's take a break.